Coming up on DITV, we give you an update on flooding in eastern Iowa and when Iowans can expect disaster relief from DC.
And later, have you ever wondered how DITV comes together every morning? We'll give you a behind-the-scenes look coming up.
We preview Iowa track and field as they get ready for the Big Ten tournament.
And we give out another DIO award later in sports.
Our classes are almost done and summer is just a few days away, but will our weather feel like summer vacation? Stay tuned for weather to find out.
All that more coming up on this Thursday, May 9th edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere, DITV starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Declan Levy.
And I'm Cindy Zatz. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get to our top story.
Davenport and surrounding eastern Iowa counties have suffered from ongoing flooding, and disaster relief packages are still in the negotiating stages. Last week, the flooding caused the river in Davenport to rise to 22.64 feet, beating the 1993 record. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds issued disaster proclamations for over half the counties in Iowa, but many are still waiting for disaster relief packages. In March, a package was down in the Senate due to disagreements over how much money should be given to Puerto Rico following 2017's Hurricane Maria. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst says she hopes that Republicans and Democrats can come to an agreement by Memorial Day weekend.
One UI professor is showing the importance of conversation to improve cancer treatments. DITV News reporter Becca Scadden has more.
Dr. Lillian Erdahl is working on research that could help improve treatment for breast cancer patients. When a patient is brought into the hospital with a breast cancer diagnosis, one of their first stops is the tumor board. Dr. Erdahl is looking at how this step changes a patient's treatment plan.
We go through, how was this cancer found? Did she find a lump herself? Did it show up on a screening mammogram? And then we talk about the tumor.
The goal of the board is to bring specialists together to present and decide the best course of treatment for a patient. But how much do these presentations impact what happens next?
And so we ask the question, is there a treatment change based on the discussion today? And maybe 8 to 10% of the time on our preliminary data, that answer is yes. So we're seeing that there's a direct measurable change in how breast cancer patients are cared for.
Figuring out the impact of the board was the first step, but Dr. Erdahl is hoping more questions can be answered by digging deeper into the profiles of patients.
One of the questions we'd like to answer is, are there specific patients who are most likely to have a change? Because then I think we might be able to look at, who benefits the most from tumor board presentation? Is there a patient population where it's really important to ensure that they have access to a tumor board like this? Or maybe it's all patients. Maybe we can't predict it.
Dr. Erdahl believes this research has opportunities to expand into looking at other types of cancers and hopes to bring her findings to doctors at other hospitals. But for now, she is happy that the University of Iowa is embracing this type of collaboration. Reporting in Iowa City, Becca Scadden, DITV.
Thanks, Becca. Sydney, graduation's coming up this weekend. Have you taken your pictures yet?
I haven't because the weather has not been so great, but I'm hoping things turn around. We have Melissa Meter in the weather studio, and please bring some good news.
Thanks, guys, but I don't think this weekend's going to be looking too good. But today is certainly not going to feel like typical May weather either. It's going to be cloudy and a little bit chilly. The temperature will be 53 degrees with winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, making that temperature feel even colder. Moving into tonight, the skies will be overcast and temperatures will drop to 40 degrees with the same winds from earlier. Now let's look at the extended forecast. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a high of 62 and a low of 44 and winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Heading into this weekend, temperatures will stay pretty much the same, but it might not be the best weather for graduation. Saturday will be cloudy with temperatures in the low 60s and a 40% chance of rain at night. Sunday, there's a 50% chance of rain, with temperatures remaining in the low 60s. Next week, the weather will get a little bit nicer. Monday will be mostly sunny, with temperatures in the upper 60s. On Tuesday, temperatures warm up into the mid-70s, with sunshine in the morning and some scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. I'm happy the temperatures are getting warmer since summer break starts next week. But to me, it doesn't feel like summer until it's 80 and the sun's out. So let's hope temperatures warm up even more. Declan and Sydney, back to you at the desk.
Every morning we here at DITV go live to bring you the latest news, sports, and weather. But have you ever wondered how it all comes together?
DITV's Anthony Caligiuri turns the cameras around to give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at DITV.
Breaking news tonight.
Thanks for tuning in.
Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in to DITV.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in. I'm Becca Scadden.
This is DITV, the student-run broadcast that has been serving the University of Iowa community for almost 15 years. And every day, a group of aspiring media professionals produce a live broadcast that is recognized around the state and the country. But how do we get our show on the air every morning at 8:30? It actually starts the night before. The producers are in charge of everything you see in the show, from stories to videos and even packages. They have a hand in choosing what is going in the show and where you'll see it. But perhaps the most important job of a producer is finding that magic number, 14 minutes and 30 seconds. To get the timing right is really a magic act in itself. Across the studio, our technical directors prepare any graphics or video the show needs. The control room may seem calm now, but all that will change in the morning. The crew arrives at 7:30, an hour before the show. Anchors touch up their makeup and straighten their ties, while the news director and producer makes any changes to the script. Often just minor wording adjustments, but sometimes entire stories. Meanwhile, the lights, cameras, and audio are all tested and thoroughly checked to make sure everything looks and sounds great. We run through the headlines, arguably the hardest part of the show. And during these moments, the energy is light and fun. But once 8:30 hits on the clock, it's all business.
Coming up on DITV, the Daily Iowan met with UI President Bruce Harold for an exclusive interview. Hear what he had to say about the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Action
For the next 14 and a half minutes, everyone must work together to get this show on the air. Producers follow the script and keep the time. The cameras hit their marks, audio keeps the levels in check, and Clipstore is in charge of all the media on the screen. All of these people look to the technical director, who punches and calls the show, making everything you see and hear possible.
All right, take it.
Well, I'm beginning
20 seconds on silence.
20 seconds on the side.
It can be nerve-wracking, but when a show is clean, full of content, and on time, it can be extremely rewarding. And if we don't like it, there's always tomorrow. Because news never sleeps. And neither do we. For DITV, I'm Anthony Caligiuri.
Here is a live look at our control room where all the action happens. It really takes a village to put on the show every morning. And so now we have a big show coming up here in sports with track having a big weekend.
That's right, and with more, we have Kimberly and Cade in the sports studio. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Iowa is hosting the 2019 Big Ten Outdoor Track and Field Championships this weekend, and we have DITV sports reporter Tanner Displank live in the newsroom to tell us more.
So Tanner, what does it mean for Iowa to be able to host the Big Ten Championships?
Yeah, Iowa hasn't won a Big Ten outdoor championship since 2011. So this would be a really big deal since coincidentally 2011 was the last time they hosted. And they've been dominant all year and they've been dominant on their home track. So it's just it would just be good to see that streak going. But earlier in the year, we've seen them dominate at the Hawkeye Invitational, but they didn't have caliber teams like you do in the Big Ten. But we'll just see how it goes, and hopefully it goes for the best. But according to the coaches' poll, Iowa men are most likely to win this thing, and the women are most likely to place in second.
Who do you think will be the standout athletes this weekend for the Hawkeyes?
I would look more specifically to field events, to be more specific than that, I would go to throwing. I think throwing's been dominant all season long. The Hawkeyes have the #1 and #2 women throwers in the Big Ten. Longi Tisaga has been dominant all year. She's shattered multiple records in indoor and outdoor track, and it'll just be good to see where she goes. I mean, she's #2 in the nation right now, so we'll see how that goes for her. And on the men's side, we have Reno Tufali, who's just also been dominant. He's number 2 in the Big Ten and number 4 in the nation, and he'll go against the number 1 guy this weekend, and we'll see what he can do.
Now, we just heard from DITV sports reporter Tanner Desplank on what to expect this weekend, but now let's hear from the team on what it will take to win at home.
At a championship meet, really you just got to go out there and do what you've done before. You don't have to go out there and drop huge times, because usually at championship meets everyone's trying to drop a huge time and a lot of people make mistakes because of that. So really we just need to go out there, do what we've been doing so far, and hopefully things will be in our favor.
The championships, are set to start tomorrow and will last throughout the weekend.
Now, while track and field will be hosting the Big Ten championships this weekend, the men's golf team is heading off to the NCAAs. The men's golf team was selected to play at the NCAA Regional at the University of Texas in Austin. This is Iowa's 10th NCAA Regional appearance in the last 11 years and the 21st in school history. Iowa will be the 7th seed in the 14-team field.
The Hawks will tee off this Sunday and are hoping to earn their first NCAA Finals appearance in over 7 years.
Now, it hasn't been 7 years since the Iowa baseball team was in the national rankings, but it has been a while.
Iowa baseball snuck into the D1 baseball rankings at the 24th spot this week. This comes on the heels of Iowa taking 2 of 3 against nationally ranked UC Irvine this past weekend. The Hawks are 29-17 this season and are currently tied for 3rd in the Big Ten.
This is Iowa's first time in the D1 baseball pool since 2015.
But getting back into the national rankings wasn't the only big news for Iowa baseball.
Brandon Scher became the first Iowa baseball player to ever win back-to-back Freshman of the Week honors. Scher took home the award for the second time after hitting .538 with a .600 base percentage during Iowa's last 4 games. Over the past 2 weeks, Scher leads the team in batting average, hits, on base percentage, and total bases. And all this hot streak, all because he's starting to feel comfortable.
Just level of comfort, confidence. I'm seeing it pretty well. Feel good every time. Always want to get up in any situation. I feel like the team has confidence in me now, just as I have confidence in them. So, just a big team effort, and glad I'm getting put in the lineup to just play the game.
Scher and the rest of the Hawks will face Michigan State at home this weekend for their final home series of the season.
And the Daily Iowan announced their Male Athlete of the Year today, wrestler Spencer Lee.
Spencer Lee repeated as a national champion in the 125-pound weight class. Lee outscored his opponents 55-7, winning twice by decision and once by major decision.
Lee also helped the men's wrestling team earn a share of the regular season Big Ten title.
To learn more about Spencer Lee's remarkable season, you can pick up a paper edition of the Daily Iowan or visit dailyiowan.com.
And the Iowa softball team is set to compete in the Big Ten tournament this morning.
Iowa is the number 12 seed and will face the 5th seed Wisconsin in the opening round. Iowa was swept by the Badgers earlier this year.
First pitch is set for 10 a.m. Central Time in Bloomington, Indiana.
And that's all we have for you in sports today, but tune in tomorrow where DITV Sports Director Lucy Rodin will wrap up this year in Hawkeye sports.
Declan and Sydney, back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you for tuning in. This has been Declan Levy.
And this is Sydney Zatz for our last time. Thank you for watching DITV, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place.
Have a great day, Iowa City.